everyone. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to make a video a little more in depth on different platforms to use for like chat rooms, trading, learning. Two of the more better ones that, at least in my opinion, that I've used since starting was Warrior Trading and Detmar trades. They both, in my opinion, offer a lot for newer traders trying to learn. Their trade styles are, I think, more adaptable and easier for people to understand. They offer like learning material and other things. And I kind of wanted to compare the two of them in this video. Now, I'm not necessarily saying one is better than the other. I'm saying they're both good, and they're both, or they're both two guys that are like, making this educational content for all of us to learn from and become better. Currently, I am on Detmar trades. I used Warrior Trading in the past. Warrior Trading was one of the first chat rooms I got into. And the reason why I got into it at the time, this is Ross. He was doing the Shirt Trader Challenge for like $500 or $600 he was starting with, and he built up his account. So that's kind of what got me into it. And then over time, I tried a few other ones, and I kind of landed on Detmar, and that's where I'm at right now. But I'm going to basically go over kind of both and what I like about them. And like again, like this isn't, this one's better than this one or vice versa. These are both good. They both are good for newer traders like myself and probably a lot of people watching, and they have good tools and benefits that can help everybody. Now, one of the more useful tools that they both have is the Trade Idea scanners. Also put TI scans, and it's just the same for Detmar here. Trade ID scanners is pretty popular. I've been noticing more and more that traders are using it. Also, a lot of traders that trade by themselves that don't necessarily utilize chat rooms use Trade ID scanners and other software. Both of theirs are set up pretty much the same. They look for typically penny stocks between $1 and $10. They look for low float stocks, meaning if it's a $1 to $10 stock, low float is kind of like 20 million and under. But I mean, specifically, that does vary from stock to stock, but that's kind of just like an average range. They look for, average daily volume, relative volume, so on and so forth. They look for all these tools. And the Trade Idea scanner is better, in my opinion, than the Shirt Trader scanner, which I have on my platform because I use Shirt Trader software, because it's more in depth, more customizable, and it's just reaching a broader range of stocks, and it's a lot more instantaneous and better, I've noticed. But like I said, overall, the setup between them is relatively the same. They're pretty much looking for the same things. I've noticed on Detmar, he has a few more options that he uses on his scanners. But I mean, for the most part, I think you can get the same utility out of both of them. One might be a little more particular than the other, but overall, they're searching for the exact same thing. And on that note, Warrior and Detmar, they both trade, as I just mentioned, $1 to $10 stocks. Now, that's important, obviously, because these guys focus on account builders. Which I'm trying to do and which I make videos about, is basically starting from the bottom. We've all seen the videos, where guys are trading, 10,000 shares, 1 to 10,000 shares, more or less, whatever, and they're making so much money, and it's this goal that just seems so far away that, where do you start from? These guys typically focus on the $1 to $10 range, because that's where a lot of us start out at. And another reason why I chose Shirt Trader is because you could start an account with just $500 and use 6 times leverage. Now, other people have opinions on leverage, whether they use it or not, but for me, it's the only way I can afford to get, a large number of shares to trade a stock. And of course, it has its ups and downs, but going to these particular chat rooms and everything that typically look for this range, it makes it easier than going to like Investors Underground or something, and they're trading Tesla stocks, which is like a $200 stock or something, so they're trading stocks way out of like the typical beginner range. So that's another good reason about it, which I like these guys. Now, one big thing with looking for stocks is, of course, the news articles. Warrior uses Benzinga. Hopefully I spelled that right. And Detmar uses equity feed. Now I don't know. Like I'm sure there's opinions on this, like one being better than the other. But I've seen both guys benefit from them. You know, their chat room benefit from it, and I'm sure there's opinions on both. But trade ideas combined with a news article scanner is really good because you want to find that stock that's, you know, it's for some reason it's getting a lot of volume, and you want to verify that there's a reason. So you're going to need a good news feed, and both of these work pretty good. I particularly am more interested in equity feed, but like I'm not like in any way ruling out Benzinga. I just like the way equity feed looks, the platform, and it's being used. And those are just kind of like the basic tools, you know, that you should have on a daily basis when you're trading. And another thing that I like about these two compared to other people's or other traders' chat rooms and stuff is they do screen share. So the whole time that you're trading, you're seeing exactly what these guys are trading. Now, Warrior trading, Ross will put his a little in the corner of the screen himself, which I actually kind of like. I like seeing the person. I don't know why. It's something very nitpicky, but he shares his screen, and then he also has like the live stream of himself as he's trading. Detmar just has his screen. Now, like I said, that's something very nitpicky and totally, you could say, useless. But like, I just like seeing the person like as they're talking, explaining something. Like it just helps me. You know, that's how I learned from it. But it's good because you're seeing Ross's trade ideas scanners. You're seeing him go through his Benzinga articles. You're seeing all the stocks he's trading, the $1 to $10 stocks, and then same thing with Detmar. You're seeing he uses trade ideas scanners as well as the charts, and then he uses equity feed for his news articles and his level 2. And both have multiple screens, so they're only sharing one portion of the screen, which is like the main part to everybody, because you can't really share like 8 different screens on like a live stream. It'd be like more complicated. But those are kind of like some of the main things that, as a newer trader, you know, you basically get. I just not realized that was spelled wrong. But you're basically getting his trade idea scans on both guys, which means you're basically getting access to what exactly their precise stock scanners, what they're looking for every day. So you might, like me, have your shirt trader scanner going, so you're looking at what that's giving you, as well as you can look at on their live feed of what their trade idea scanner is giving you. So really, you got 2 scanners. You have the Benzinga and equity feed for your news. I don't remember if the Benzinga was being shared the whole time, but on both of them, they're basically flipping through it, like looking stock to stock to stock to find articles, and they'll share it on there. Same thing with the equity feed. As Detmar is looking through his individual stock picks, you can see it on his equity feed scanner. Screen sharing is huge. You know, I think actually like walking through it and showing people is very beneficial. One thing that I noticed that Detmar does more is live commentary. Now, Ross does do live commentary, but like I would compare it to Warrior trading commentary being, you know, very subtle. You know, just sticking to the main bulk of it. Like, I'm buying the stock, here it goes. I'm watching it, I got out. You know, that's kind of the end of it. Now I'm just searching. Detmar, pretty much the whole day, and I don't want to sound like negative when I say it, but like he's talking, he's like he's running his mouth, he's talking about whatever's going on. He's saying, I'm looking at this stock, here are the reasons. I'm looking at that stock, here are the reasons. There's news articles are saying this, so I'm going to trade this one. The patterns on this chart doesn't look right, so I'm not going to trade that one. And I'll just go ahead and say he does it as well. But I notice on here it seems like he's doing it a lot more. And what I like about that is because I just trade off my laptop, I have one screen. So as I'm going through all my short trader and everything like that, I hear the audio in the background, and I'll hear him list off some stocks or stocks that other people are alerting, and then that'll be like, okay, now I'm going to jump over to that one. So that kind of helps me get that like extra audio kind of edge where I can hear what's going on. Now another thing with that is alerts. Now Detmar has 5 alert chats, and Ross has 1 and a question alert, or basically a chat room. So Ross will have 1 that's just basically all we're doing here is alerting stocks like Tesla's on a bounce, Apple's dipping. This stock looks like it's going to break out, in a U-shaped type pattern. This one's going in a triangle. This one just had a press release, blah, blah, blah. And then they have a questions chat where it's just for questions. So it gives you the opportunity to ask questions and get answers. Now, what I like about Ross is he has people in that chat room for questions, kind of like that's their job basically, is to answer people's questions. So you're not getting left out. Like if you think you're just going to go in and ask something and instead of getting an answer, they actually do a pretty decent job of answering. Now, for Detmar having the 5, he has an alerts, just standard alerts for stocks, basically going long, going up. He has a shorts chat for alerts, so stocks going down, you want to short. He has a swing chat, so when you want to swing trade. He has a profits chat where you just basically post your profits, where you like, I just made $50 on this, I made $100, blah blah blah. And then he has public chat, which is basically the equivalent of the questions, where everybody can just talk and answer questions. Now, what Detmar also has that's similar to that, but Warrior Trading doesn't have, is the one-on-one. Now, the way this works is it's a little box in the corner of the screen. Basically, it's like an individual chat room. It's supposed to be directly linked to him. Now, during the day while he's talking and stuff like that, if you were to type in that box, it would go to one of the people that work with him to answer questions. But at certain points during the day, and they're pretty much around the same time, he'll say, okay, nothing's really going on right now, so what I'm going to do is go to one-on-one chat, and you guys can hit me up, and if you have any questions, like answer it in there. Now, I think that alone, let me adjust this. Now, I think that alone is kind of a leg up on Warrior, because you can, still ask questions in the question chat room, but I think it's a more unique dynamic where you can actually ask the person that's running it. And I've asked several times, different questions, and I always do it when he says I'm going to one-on-one chat. I don't want to do it just randomly and wait for a response. I want to do it when he says he's actually there, and like I always get an answer within like 2 minutes. Like, so it's pretty quick. It's not like you're sitting there all day waiting for an answer. So that's one aspect of his that I like that Warrior doesn't do. And then one thing he also has is a notes section, and what the notes is basically they'll have different information in there. They'll say when you read a press release, look for these words. When you look at stock charts, look for these patterns, and he'll have links. He'll have his watch list. He'll have various information that you can look at any time. It's just right there. You just click it on the screen, and it's just a bunch of good information. What I like it for is the basically the words and press releases. That's one thing that definitely changed going from these two, because they both talk about how important press releases are. They both talk about, when there's FDA approval, phase 3 trials, new trade deal, partnership, acquisition, whatever, so on and so forth. That's important information. But when I was in Warrior's chat room, like I would be reading the article, right? And some of those articles are fucking long. I didn't realize that I'm really just looking for certain things. When I went to Detmar trades, he's like, I'm just looking for the word acknowledgement. I'm just looking for FDA approval. I'm just looking for phase 3. Like, literally not giving a shit about 99% of the article, just looking for those keywords and like, CEO statement, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Just looking for those keywords. That's going to make the difference. And that's something that's definitely changed for me. Like, I'll be searching for stocks on the scanner, and I'll see like FDA, and I'm like, I don't even give a shit what's in the article. I go right to that stock. I'm like, that stock just got FDA approval. All people care about, and that's what they're going to be trading. And like a majority of the time, like, it's always right. Like, people see all that stuff too. They might actually go in depth into the article, but just a few keywords is like crucial, and it definitely saves time rather than reading through all the article. Now, this is just basic, like I don't want to go like full in depth. Maybe in the future I might just do Warrior everything there and Detmar everything there. But I think as far as like newer traders, like I said, like myself, I'm still learning, still going through everything. I've already spent the money on these guys. So you guys don't have to, just trying to get an idea. But one thing I will mention is Warrior Trading. I think they're around, I think it was like close to like 200. I want to say for their month to month, which is like chat room, their course material. Not all of it, I don't think. Just certain videos or whatever. I think the actual courses you have to buy. Just like that basic stuff. That you get access. I think the main thing is like the chat room. And then they'll say like, you get access to all the traders and blah, 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 which of course you're just in a chat room, you ask a question when there's like 600 other people there, so, it's not like you get access to them. But Detmar is $60 a month, a lot cheaper, and you get the same shit, and he doesn't have, like, courses. What he does is he makes live videos like every day, like literally every day he makes an instructional video. He even says that in the chat room. He's like, even if we don't make money today, I'm going to make an instructional video just to like help people out so they understand. So he has a video library of just every video he's ever made, and you have access to all that at any time. So it's a lot similar to Warrior Trading's course, although I will admit Warrior Trading, their course material is structured, lesson 1 intro, lesson 2 scanners, lesson 3 level 2, so on and so forth. It's broken down, but you're paying for that course as well as you're paying for, just the month-to-month fees. Whereas Detmar, you're paying a lot less. You might not have a structured course, but you could visit any of those lessons at any time, and they're all touted, level 2, blah, 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 this and that. Now, if I were to say which is better in terms of like explaining stuff, I would say Detmar is better for live trading, and Warrior is better for in-depth learning. So like I liked his course material. I still review it from time to time. Like I've gone through his, I've gone through Timothy Sykes, I've gone through Investors Underground. There's another one I can't think of right now. And then just like a bunch of, people on YouTube that just put out content, Like I've gone through a lot of them. I like Ross Cameron's, course material the best. I think his is pretty good. The way he's explaining, he's super chill. It seems more compassionate. The way he talks to you and everything. It makes you want to learn. Like I said, Detmar, he just has his video library. Now I'm not saying it's useless. Like you can get a bunch of good information out of that, but it's not a structured course in any way. You just filter through the videos and find which one you wanna watch and learn from, and whatever the particular topic is. Now that's kind of like the main aspect of it. Now, like in the future going forward, I'm more likely going to stick with Detmar, because one, the price. Like at the end of the day, that price tag is what's going to get most of us. Like what you have to pay every single month. It's better. But I do, like I said, I like the live trading commentary better from Detmar. Ross does a good job. I think just Detmar does better. The trade idea scanners are pretty much the same. Their new scanning information is pretty much the same. They both trade $1 to $10 stocks. You know, they both screen share. Yeah, I could get nitpicky and say I like Ross just because he shows his like picture of himself. It just seems like something more personal. But I mean, that's really nothing. I like that Detmar has more chat rooms for different purposes. The standard alerts is the most active one, just as everyone's in it. I like the one-on-one, that's awesome, and the notes that are awesome. So he has like a few things a little more down here that kind of step out from warrior trading, but it's not a huge difference depending on what you're looking for. Ultimately, I think most of us want the trade idea scanners. They want building stocks, you know, between $1 and $10. They don't want to be trading $50, $100, $200 stocks when they can buy like only a couple shares. You know, you want to be buying block shares, 100 shares, 200 shares, 500 shares. You know, and then you want some sort of news feed. You want some sort of news information, and you want and probably a lot of us too. You know, you want a screen share. You want to actually see what they're doing. Like you hear them talking about it, but like, what the fuck are they doing? You know, you actually want to see it. I think those four are pretty much the main things, and then these two guys have it. Now, like I said, this isn't one is better than the other. Don't waste your money on this. Do this. You know what I mean? That's totally not what this video is about. It's just showing you overall they give a lot of good information. They might go about it in a little bit different ways, and it's ultimately like how you learn, the style you learn. You know, are you a visual person? Are you an audible person? Are you a hands-on person? You know, what's your learning style? You know, one of these guys is going to be a little bit better at teaching you. You have to ultimately determine that. But when you want to look at something that most people think about, you know, what's the price? And I could be wrong on the Warrior. It's been a while since I've been in there because when I went into his room, there was a holiday deal and it was only like $40 for the chat room. But that's all you had access to is the chat room, nothing else. So I think his standard monthly is around like between $100 and $200. I haven't checked in a while, but I know it's pretty high with some of the other ones. With Detmar, $60, and with Detmar, you get first 2 weeks free, so you get to try it for free, which is probably one of the most interesting things that I don't see no one else offer. You know, a free trial. So before you even buy it, you could try it, right? That's really saying something too, because you know that's basically saying, hey, go check out this car for a test drive before you drop 30 grand on it, instead of the salesman just pushing that 30 grand on you, making you buy it, and as soon as you drive it off the lot, you feel like you made a fucking mistake. So that's really good that he does that, and I think that's really shows confidence in what he's trying to do and how he's trying to help people. So that's another reason why they're. And again, I'm not trying to make it look like this is all great and this is not. You know, like they're both great. I just think for what I pay and the few more things that I get that may not be, you know, like these amazing things, you know, that are life changing compared to the basic scans, news feed, screen sharing, and the dollar stock range that he trades. But just having that little extra stuff peppered on there for a decent enough price, and I went through the 2-week trial, so I tried it for free before I even paid, and you know I really liked it. That's kind of why like my ultimate choice is going to be Detmar here. But like I said, they're both good, and I'll even write on here, you know, better courses. I should just say courses for free. I mean, not courses for free, just courses. Because, you know, he does have, in my opinion, better courses. Like, just the way he explains it, he breaks it down. And then at the end of his courses, because he does it like chat room style, he says, are there any questions? Which is huge, because, you know, if you get a course, like if you go to Investors Underground, which don't, because unless you're like an experienced trader, because you're not going to get much from them for your money. If you go through the course, at the end of the course, it's over. That's it. You know, there's nothing. Well, at the end of Warrior course, he does it in a chat room. So if you're not there in the chat room, you can't ask any questions, but other people there do, and he answers them. So he'll go through each lesson, and they'll be like, all right, is there any questions? And then people just start typing in, how do you do this? How do you do this? And then he just goes through and answers them. So that's added into the course for every lesson in that course program. So that's another good thing about it. So like if you had to break it down, like I would say, live trade with this guy and learn course material from this guy. Like if you wanted to look at it that way, but they're both good. They both offer the things that we all want, basically good scans, good information, and all that. There's just a few things more I like with this, and the price range is better. So that's kind of the reason why I made this video, just to help people that are new, like I said, like me, that want to learn more, that want to find a good chat room to go do in a good environment and everything, and basically learn from. So hopefully this was helpful. I'll try to do more informational videos like this where I can actually write stuff out and break it down, because sometimes when I explain stuff to you guys in videos, it's so much better if I can give you some type of visual. If I can't give you that good visual, then I'm just talking and you have no idea what I'm talking about. So I'm going to try to do something more like this. Maybe, like I said, do a little better job. I kind of did this, or planned it last minute, but I wanted to make this video, and I wanted to make it basically about the two favorite courses, or the two favorite chat rooms that I've gone through so far, that I've spent my money on, that I find that are the best. So if you're, like you said, you're new, maybe you're not new, maybe you're trading for like a little while, but you want to be part of chat room or environment, you can go with these two. I know a lot of people talk about TechBud Solutions. TechBuds is just a chat room, and he'll do a live stream kind of off of the chat, because you go through Discord and you have all the chat room in there, and then he has it off screen. These guys, in my opinion, are more organized. The way they have everything set up, it's just all on one page, right? And if you know anything about trading, at some point, you gotta step your monitor game up. You might have one or two monitors. I'm not saying you have to, but you realize when you have more stocks you can watch at once, screen real estate becomes a big issue. And I don't like the separation that TechBuds do, that's kind of all over, and then the chat room itself is not as organized. I like that both these guys go through the effort and call people out. Like if you're in an alerts chat and you're just making idle commentary, they'll be like, hey, this is just for alerts. We want people to only talk about stocks that we should be trading. But if you want to talk and just have a conversation, you can go to this other chat room, I don't see a whole lot of organization like that on TechBuds. And I'm not trying to shame on them in any way. I have the chat room going as well as I have Detmar's going, because the more information I have, the better. The more stocks and tickers being thrown out there, the more I could run through. But for organization, how they're set up, the way they do it, I think these two guys do it pretty well. I think they're both worth the money, but I think on the more affordable side, and I've basically shown you're pretty much going to get the same thing. It's just a few tweaks between the two. I like going with Detmar trades. Now he might raise the fucking price of it one day. I don't know, but right now it's like $60, so it's pretty good. But that's kind of all I got. So hopefully this was helpful. As always, leave a commentary, let me know. I'll try to make more videos in the future, try to update you all. And then, yeah, so enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend.